A frequent visitor to China, he has witnessed firsthand China's development and modernization. He expresses his gratitude for China's helping hand in difficult times and looks forward to engaging in all-out cooperation with China. He praises China's experience in development that brings benefits to the world and acknowledges his country's special connection with China. Sri Lankan Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena sits down on Leaders Talk for an exclusive interview.
Hello and welcome to Leaders Talk, where we meet leaders, thinkers, and trailblazers. I'm So Yun. Here in Shanghai, we're about to interview a guest from China's traditional friendly neighbor, and he is the Prime Minister of Sri Lanka, Mr. Dinesh Gunawardena. Having visited China many times and traveled extensively throughout the country, how does he define the current relationship between the two countries? What kind of experience does he think China's path towards modernization can offer to other developing countries? And what special bonds does he have with China? Here is my conversation with Sri Lanka Prime Minister Gunawardena. Prime Minister Gunawardena, it was a great pleasure having you with us here on Leaders Talk. You visited the magnificent Great Wall that is renowned world cultural relic with a history of over 2,000 years and stretches for more than 20,000 kilometers. So how do you like the trip? Is there anything memorable that you want to share with us?
Yeah, when you get there, you feel that you have achieved something that is always remembered. But this is the third time I've been up there. Thousands and thousands of people, not only from China, across the world, go up because it gives history of China, achievements of the historical history of China in the civilization, also a meaning to the strength that has been protected and retained by the Chinese people. And my countrymen, I hope, will also get the message that their Prime Minister has gone up to the Great Wall.
Well, let's talk a little bit about something inspiring, as well as the highlight of your trip this time is your meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping. Well, during the conversation, both sides exchanged ideas on how to advance this bilateral relation, especially on advancing the strategic cooperative partnership between the two countries. So what are some of your major takeaways from your meeting with President Xi?
It has been a very positive and a successful visit for Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka-China relationship is over 60 years, and we have stood as close friends in all issues, and China has continued to help Sri Lanka in all its challenges, for which President Xi Jinping had the confidence was given to us that the future development will also follow the same path of friendship and cooperation. President very specifically mentioned that our future is of new challenges. We have passed the one stage. Now the world is faced with new challenges. Modernization is taking place at a very fast rate. Sri Lanka hopes to modernize our different productive and service sector, which can take us also fairly on a fast growth. We discussed all these issues, and the assurances were always positive. We had an opportunity of speaking to the President Xi Jinping, which we appreciate and will remember continuously.
After your meeting with President Xi, what is your impression of President Xi as a leader, and how do you understand his political thoughts and philosophy?
It was a very pleasant conversation, but very deep conversation, because his words, I think, mean a lot when he speaks. So today he leads one of the greatest nations of the world. So for all of us, we appreciate this great progress, because it's for the entire mankind. Everyone, every country can benefit from this progress. That is his deep philosophy.
As you mentioned, China and Sri Lanka are close friends and traditional friendly neighbors. And how would you characterize this time-honored relations between the two countries?
It's a long process. Our leaders have associated the leaders of China. We understand China's path. Sri Lanka signed the Rubber Rice Pact amid various pressures not to. It's not only an agreement, it's a new chapter in economics. China has proved to be that it is a great nation of the world, strong, developed in all areas, all fields of today's world. So I think Sri Lanka was very bold, straight, and a challenging position of giving diplomatic recognition in 1957. Because at that time we were known as Ceylon. China accepted Sri Lanka's future progress and development, new areas of cooperation. Hambantota port at the tip of our country. Beyond Hambantota port, it is the Indian Ocean and no other country, no other island, right down to the South Pole. Please remember. So Sri Lanka also looked forward and developed Hambantota.
Mr. Prime Minister, the projects they just mentioned are actually relevant with another important topic that has been touched upon during a meeting with President Xi, is the Belt and Road Cooperation. In 2014, President Xi visited and inaugurated the landmark Colombo Port City project. And those projects has now become flagship examples of this cooperation. And during the meeting, President Xi particularly emphasized the high quality building of the Belt and Road cooperation between the two countries. So how do you think the quality of the Belt and Road cooperation can be further enhanced from your perspective?
President Xi came to Sri Lanka and laid the foundation for the most challenging project Sri Lanka has embarked on, that is the Colombo Port City development. 2 weeks ago, we were embarked on the construction of the financial center, which will play a major role in the Colombo Port City development as a financial center, a center of new financial instruments, widespread, with new challenges that is emerging in order to face, call for investment. We one of the strongest hubs in South Asia between Singapore and the Gulf. So it's a major step that has been taken. We were facing difficulty after the COVID set down. Recession took the world with COVID. All countries faced a recession. The world faced a recession. But China has come out of the recession strongly, and China's economy strongly moving forward means it will affect whole of Asia. Asian economies can now feel we have better opportunities, markets, various ventures to move forward with China or Chinese investment. So I think after that, Sri Lanka also has been able to progress. We were in deep difficulty economically, but China helped us as the first country to give the strongest support, along with all our friendly countries and institutions. Since then, Sri Lankan economy has picked up from minus. We have just reached the plus stage, coming out of above zero, which gives strong confidence. In addition, our exports moving positively, we have also been able to relax a lot of restrictions that were before on the economy, thereby allowing the private sector to reinvest, find new areas of investment, and for foreign investment also to come into Sri Lanka.
Well, President Xi, during the meeting, also encouraged Chinese enterprises to invest and conduct business in Sri Lanka, but also expressing hope for a fair and transparent business environment in your country. So, Mr. Prime Minister, can you give us an idea and update of the current state of business environment in Sri Lanka, especially for international investors?
What Sri Lanka announced, Sri Lanka has been following. I think the trust is important. Today, studying the investment proposals they have in order to move forward with the new legislation that has been brought, a lot of relaxation than before, so that the investors have confidence. And Sri Lanka wants investors that will modernize our country.
Sri Lanka is located in the Indian Ocean, south of the Indian subcontinent. Its economy is primarily based on agriculture, with a lengthy coastline that gives the fishing industry a significant role. However, this key sector remains relatively backwards in terms of technology and equipment, hindering its expansion and its performance on the value chain and impacting revenues. Sri Lanka is currently looking to start technical training with China's assistance.
We have already agreed with Chongqing government and Three Gorges Vocational Training Institute to empower 100,000 families by vocational training. In fishing, families also included to this program.
But you have said in a previous interview that Sri Lanka must took off to a new stage of development, not staying on the traditional industries like tea, rubber, and coconut. So in the future, we're looking ahead. What do you think are some of the most promising new areas of cooperation between China and Sri Lanka?
The plantation economy will diversify, even the private sector to participate for exports. Sri Lanka has so much that can be developed in the agriculture sector anew for export. Tourism still to be strengthened and developed. Sri Lanka, as you know, is a beautiful island surrounded by lovely beaches from the north to the south. We need perhaps to improve our railway track and other sources, IT facilities, digital technology, important areas where we could cooperate, and that would be a new stage for Sri Lanka.
I also noticed that especially in recent years, the Sri Lankan government is placing greater emphasis on the cooperation of science and technological cooperation with China. For instance, last year when you visited Yunnan in August, you have shown a particular interest in the state-of-art technologies applied in the flower auction trade center in agriculture sector. And I even asked experts about how to bring those technologies back to your home country. So what fascinates you the most in this broad field of Chinese technologies, and what benefits do you think those Chinese technologies can bring to fishery, agriculture, and other related fields regarding the development of Sri Lanka?
Yes, we were in Yunnan province. Some of my other delegations have traveled to other provinces on invitation by China and the governors. The agriculture sector has done a lot of research in China. Their productivity is very high. So that is one area where our farmers, our entrepreneurs can take the advantage of having high producing agricultural sector, new areas of investment which can go in for exports, not only to China but to other markets. You all have research stations and which have been able to produce high yielding varieties. Representatives of Yuan has come to Sri Lanka, and we have earmarked 2 special provinces for this development that could take place. So the close cooperation definitely will lead to a better economic prosperity. President Xi Jinping heads China and leads China. His declared policy of what was shown, raising the lowest income population away from difficulty to better life, over hundreds of millions by the new policy. The policy of a high-yielding agriculture sector, which President declared would share with the entire world, other nations. And Sri Lanka is one that would like to cooperate, get the support to develop our agriculture, especially rice farmers, productivity to be increased, income levels to increase, costs to be reduced. All other countries are in this today's agricultural development because food security is an important area.
Kurunegala is home to Sri Lanka's core coconut plantation. In recent years, China has provided Sri Lanka with new integrated agricultural development schemes for coconut plantations. Apart from coconut juice and desiccated coconut, projects are in place to produce added value products, including coconut milk and coconut essential oil. Jobs have been created, revenues have increased, and living standards have been improved.
China technology as a cost-effective, it's value for money option when compared with other origins. So that is one critical aspect when in order to overcome the current challenges we have in business.
අපේ ආයතනය තුළ චීන සමාගමකින් මැෂින් තියෙනවා. එහෙන් ගෙන්නව මැෂින් වලින් අත්‍තරම අපි ලොකු ප්‍රයෝජනයක් ගන්නවා.
Manufacturing is also a key focus of China-Sri Lanka cooperation. The Baruila area of the western province is home to many small and medium-sized shipyards. In recent years, some local shipyards have improved their production capacity by introducing Chinese technology and equipment, taking orders overseas, and driving the development of Sri Lanka's international trade.
කලින් වැඩ කරපු කම්පැනි වල ඇත්තටම මේ දීවර බෝට්ටු නිෂ්පාදනය කරගෙන නැහැ. නමුත් මේ ආයතනයේ මේ දීවර බෝට්ටු නිෂ්පාදනය කරනකොට මේවට අවශ්‍ය එන්ජින් generators දීවර බෝට්ටුවක් නිෂ්පාදනය කරන්න හැකියාව තියෙනවා.
Chinese technology is moving fast in the world. If Chinese collaboration with us, and definitely we will move into the future.
So, having visited the country many times and traveled extensively throughout the country from big cities to small villages, how do you understand China's path towards modernization?
And managing a great nation and having growth and innovations and research is what China has achieved in the last few years, a tremendous forward step that runs across China. I mean, today in Shanghai, yesterday I was at the Boao conference, moved down from Beijing. 2 months ago I was in Yuan with my delegation, our members of parliament, our public officials. We have seen the great achievements and development in all fields. So we can see the growth at every level, rural level, how the farmers have achieved better income levels, living standards, how the educational institutions have progressed, sharing the seats with the rest of the world, allowing other countries, children to come, do their higher education, get back, implement the research they have done. So I would say it's a great achievement which has to be studied because studies will never end.
Each day, there are millions of stories. Each one can open new perspectives, new possibilities. Wherever you look, we are there to see, discover, explore. We put the pieces together to find what really matters to you, all around the world, all around the clock. Our reporters are at home across the globe. From our headquarters in Beijing and production centers in Washington, Nairobi, and London. Stories from across the globe, reaching people across the globe. CGTN. See the difference.
I see a country on the move.
There's my opportunity.
Is it good to change so fast?
Yes, but it's a challenge.
We have one foot in the future.
But we never forget our past.
We need to talk to one another.
And listen.
More than 1 billion voices telling their stories. Rediscovering China, only on CGTN.
In terms of studying and learning, what kind of experiences and practices from China's modernization do you think are helpful and valuable to the modernization journey in Sri Lanka?
Sri Lanka, of course, is a small island. Our land area is small. Overall, if we take the fastest train China has produced, it is something for the whole world to think. Public transport, less costly, more faster. But these are achievements China has made by a lot of changes that have taken place within China, a lot of new investment in new areas, cooperation with other entrepreneurs from abroad, technology being brought, jointly being put into practice also is another aspect. China has shown great understanding in working towards high objectives.
Some Western media have accused China of luring Sri Lanka into a debt trap. I believe that you have been very familiar with accusations like this. What is your response to those media outlets?
Sri Lanka, as I mentioned, all these minutes in your interview, has always respected, trusted, and committed for development with China. China's help assistance has been for our development. When we were in difficulty, China helped us. When our territorial integrity was being threatened, our unitary state was about to be dispersed, China stood by Sri Lanka in order to overcome terrorism and to hold back the unitary state for which all our countrymen today appreciate.
Mr. Prime Minister, you grew up in a family that share a very special bond with China, as both of your parents were great friends of the country. So can you share with us some of those stories and connections?
Yeah, we are strongly close friends of China. I would say Sri Lankans are. So my family also, my father being an active socialist, working the difficult times in Europe for the socialist movement, Premier Chu and Lai later, but as a leading activist in Paris. My father also, they put their signature asking the colonizers to leave Indochina. Since then, they have had close friendship, close collaboration, being in the same movement. I mean, everyone exchanges views. And after the victory, I did mention the victorious revolution under President Mao Zedong. Our bonds of friendship, exchanges of views definitely would have taken place between our socialist leaders of Sri Lanka. Delegations came soon after. My mother was in Parliament, and she was the first president of the Sri Lanka China Society.
Prime Minister Gunawardena, you have referred to China as a true, decisive global leader and have spoken highly about China's developments in benefiting the global south. Well, given the evolving global landscape is now filled with unprecedented challenges, how do you interpret the significance of the Global Development Initiative, the Global Security Initiative, and the Global Civilization Initiative put forward by President Xi?
Each country perhaps has had something special, but all of us getting together can make an entire region, entire continent into these three areas that President Xi Jinping mentioned as success. It's a deep philosophy that has been announced. More than the letters of agreement, this is a deep philosophy. We understand it is what the world needs. We don't want half of the world to be starving or another sector of the world to be dying every day because of issues in relation to land or their independence. It's a new world that we are aspiring to. Everyone wants peace. Peace in a much more deeper form can be also achieved, strengthened and safeguarded by achieving high results of economic growth for all.
Mr. Prime Minister, it was a great pleasure and honor talking to you. Thank you so much for your time.
Welcome.
During the interview, Prime Minister Gunawardena expressed his appreciation for China's assistance to his country in times of difficulty and also commended China's developments benefiting developing countries. He hopes that China's experiences in its past war's modernization can be an inspiration to the modernization journey in Sri Lanka. It is also hoped that the strategic cooperative partnership and the traditional friendship between the two countries will continue to progress. With that, we want to wrap up this edition of Leaders Talk. I'm Zoe reporting from Shanghai. Thank you for watching and see you next time.